Alright, so you've maybe been hearing recently that Paper Mario's been getting talked about a lot. And apparently, this was started by Arlo, a massive movement to remaster The Thousand Year Door. And I didn't hear about this until this morning when Super Mario T did a video on it. And that really got me thinking, because I've been thinking about Paper Mario in general recently. And hearing all of this inspired me to talk about the series and the personal connection I have to it and why it's always been a really important series to me. So anyway, I'm going to tell my story with the franchise, and I'm going to start with Paper Mario. Now, this is a game that we got when I was really young. This is the same cartridge. And my cousin got it. And me, him, and my brother, we all played the game, and we absolutely loved it. And it became like this whole entire big fountain hotspot of a bunch of inside references and stuff for us. Like, we really loved the areas and all the characters and just all the stuff you could do in this game. And we loved Flower Fields and what was the name of the snow village of the penguins? Oh, I feel bad for forgetting it. But we loved that, and basically every area in the game, but those especially. And we liked the Little Oinks a lot, and we really liked Tasty Tea. My cousin especially really liked Tasty Tea in all those areas, and Gourmet Guy. But yes, we really love the cooking aspect of this game, and I've always been fascinated by cooking, especially baking, but that just really helped enhance it, being able to prepare recipes in that game, and going to Tasty Tea and seeing what you get, and all the different recipe options of the cake mix. I just absolutely loved it. And I remember my cousin, it was probably his favorite game ever. He absolutely fucking just jumped for joy over anything about it. He was a teenager at this point too. And I remember him drawing these like really good sketches, colored and everything, for Flower Fields and the village. And he also made like online, well not online, but just on the computer using programs, Microsoft Office. He made a cookbook for Tasty Tea, and he would put together like clip art or Microsoft Paint art, and he printed that out and stapled it. But yeah, we played the absolute fucking shit off Paper Mario 1, and it's still heavily thought of today. It's a favorite game amongst us. But yeah, Paper Mario 1, and then a little bit later, of course, the game everybody is talking about still was released, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. And we got this when it was brand new also, and this is also the same fucking copy. And, but yes, my brother got that one. My cousin was just so in love with the first one that he mainly bothered with that. He did touch that a little bit, but not much at all. I think he got as far as maybe like the first boss, Hooktail, not even maybe. But yeah, we played that, and the game at the time, I still overall liked the first one better, mainly because of like the atmosphere and what I mentioned before of all of the early memories of it. But that game, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, was just absolutely blowing my fucking mind at that time. And I just loved all the different chapters, how each one was something completely different. The areas were all interesting. I loved Chapter 3 at the time, the Glitz Pits. And then much later on, we weren't that good at the game. It took us a long time to progress through it, but eventually my brother, who I was mostly watching play ahead of me, got to the Excess Express, and it became our favorite chapters. But Thousand Year Door, it was inspiring a lot of stuff that I was coming up with at that time as a kid, and drawing stuff in the journal and coming up with ideas for settings and places and events and stories of like each thing being something completely different, like a race or a tournament or a mystery. And like that stuff is still like expanded today. Like obviously it's different now than since I was a kid, but it's still like the early stages of stuff I come up with now that's original. But yeah, Thousand Year Door, that lasted a long time. It took us a while to beat it, because again, we sucked, but it was fucking kick-ass, and it's a massive overhaul from the first one. Just improving in basically every aspect. And I'm gonna get to it later, where I really start to love Thousand Year Door now. But after that, we started to see stuff for the new game being released, Super Paper Mario, and we were reading about it in magazines and stuff. And while I knew there was a gameplay difference happening, I was still mostly okay with it. I would have preferred just the turn-based RPG. Like, Paper Mario 1 was like my introduction to that stuff. But yeah, Super Paper Mario came out, and I was really excited for it regardless, and I played it, and I was fucking horrible at it. I did not really get good at games until this decade. But yeah, I was really interested in this, and I really wanted to beat it and keep giving it chances. My brother was passing off, but I was more determined to beat it even though I was bad at it, because there's a lot of stuff I still really liked about this game. And like the other two, is just the same copy that we've always had. But yeah, I wasn't too good at it, and I was getting frustrated with it and stuff, but it was mainly my own fault just for being not good, I'll admit that. But this is going to come in a bit later, and by later I mean nowish, because this is about the point of time where I started going back to the games. In 2011, I was, like, more depressed and a mess inside than I am now. Well, I would argue that now I mainly am, but back then it was a lot worse because I didn't really know how to handle it. And I was completely alone. My brother was off to college, my cousin was busy at work in his own life and also moving out, or moving away, I should say. And I didn't have like any real friends to talk to. I didn't fucking like anybody at school. I was turning away everybody, and I just couldn't relate anyways until like later on. But the summer of that year was especially bad. The first 3 weeks were cool because my brother was in visiting. We were all doing stuff together. But after that, I was completely alone, and there was a lot of stuff happening to me with like other people that was really bad. I don't want to get too far into it because it'd be too off topic. But it was at that point where I was getting more competent at games, and I was thinking of Thousand Year Door, but I wanted to 100% it, and I was going back to my own file. I was just still at the Shadow Palace. I never bothered to face Shadow Queen on my file. Excuse me, I'm just going to adjust the camera. But anyways, I never bothered to beat Shadow Queen on my own file at that point. And I wanted to get off the recipes and stuff and go back because I always loved the cooking in that game. So I did that, and that was like a really big, like, small thing of like happiness and relief to go to at the time where I was really troubled and I was thinking of suicide a lot. And it may sound like a bit ridiculous, but it helped where I would just go to bed miserable, and but then something hit to me like, oh yeah, I haven't done this yet in Thousand Year Door, I should do that tomorrow. And it was something fun to look forward to. I typed in all of the recipes while I copy pasted them and printed them out and had a sheet for me to reference to. And that was also when I was discovering a lot of cool things about the game, like Miss Mouse joining your party, because I was able to play it and be good at it, and the different color Yoshis and stuff. And a lot of this is because I found Chugga Conroy at this time because of that. I found his playthrough of it, which was a couple of years old at that point. And I'm still watching Chugga today, and I really loved his Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door series. I learned a lot of new things about the game from that. And flash forward 1 year later, he starts playing Super Paper Mario, and he did this for Pikmin 2 for me the other year, where he inspired me to finally go out and beat it. I watched his Super Paper Mario playthrough, and I figured out what to do, and again, I was just generally good at video games at this point, about around as good as I am now, mainly a bit not as good, but yes, I could do it. And I was finally able to play Super Paper Mario no problem, and I absolutely loved it. Like, I have a lot of good memories of this game now, back in summer of like 2012, and I was finding off the recipes and doing all the side quests and stuff too, and I just loved exploring the universe they made in that game and all of the lore and the characters and everything. It was just so well crafted for me, and I absolutely loved it. and it's super nostalgic for me now. And then later that summer, like 1 month later, I replayed Paper Mario and got a new aspect of that, the first game. And I was able to go through that no problem, and unfortunately it was the last time I played through all of it myself, because there's something wrong with our cartridge now, where after playing it for like 30 minutes it crashes. I'm sure as hell not getting rid of the cartridge itself though. And then 2014, that's when it became annual for me to replay Thousand Year Door, and that's when I really, really, really started to love the game, and I started hearing everybody else loving it too. Like, I was really paying attention to the dialogue and just every little detail in that game, and just finding something new each and every year for it. But the year before that, Sticker Star came out, and when we were first hearing about it, we were excited, me and my brother, because, at first it looked like they were going back to how the first two games were like, because we saw that image of like the change up with Mario, or we heard of it. And that of course didn't end up happening, and Sticker Star was probably the most disappointing game for me of all time. We ended up selling it, and that was just kind of a painful mess to go through, but you would hope that maybe they would learn for that. But then in 2015, Color Splash came out, much to everybody's dismay, and I didn't even bother with that one. I have heard that it was a bit of an improvement from Sticker Star, but it still doesn't really matter all that much. And ever since then, I've just been learning new things about the first three games all the time. Thousand Year Door, especially, like just last year, that debug was found, and I tried it on my game, and I was able to see when it was made and everything, and that was really cool. And I've been watching Fat Guy, that channel. He does a bunch of mods for the first two games and plays other mods he's been doing. Like, his most popular thing was Book of Mario, which was like a Google translated Thousand Year Door. And as of right now, he's doing a Master Quest mod made by this guy named Thams for the first Paper Mario, and there's a lot of cool shit in that. Like, he made like a boss replayables. That was not English. He made boss fights replayable, and he added a pit of 100 trials and other secrets, extra badges, and stuff. And like that's the kind of stuff I would have like dreams about as a kid being in the game. And speaking of that, I've never really told this story, even though it's like my favorite dream ever. Was this is a while ago now. This is like the beginning of the decade, around 2010 or so. But I had a dream about there being a Paper Mario game playing like the first two. But the partners in the other worlds Mario would get and explore in there were characters and places from other Nintendo franchises. But I also remember stuff being kind of mixed up. Like, your first partner was Luigi, and I'm pretty sure the first chapter is just like a generic Mario place. But then the second chapter took place in No Fair, and Samus was mentioned, but the partner you would get during that chapter was Link, and the final boss was Mother Brain. And I remember Kirby being in the game in some fashion, and then Samus would show up later on and join the party. And maybe Fox, maybe Pikachu, I don't really remember though. But that was an amazing fucking dream, and just imagine them doing a game like that. But anyway, these games end up being more sentimental to me, and just so many great memories, and just on their own, they were fantastic games, but now the franchise has kind of fallen apart. It's kind of been dead, and unfortunately Nintendo has shown to have this mindset of, oh, we fucked up in this title, just no, people don't like this series anymore, and that's what ended up killing the Chibi Robo franchise, and it's kind of happened with Star Fox recently. But now, of course, there's been a big movement to remaster Thousand Year Door in hopes that will bring back the series to its roots and how it was made special. And that'd be great to get another amazing game off the franchise finally and have it be just as special as it was before and create a bunch of new memories. They'll last forever and have another timeless entry in the series. And Nintendo has been showing signs of changing their mindset recently. Like, look at Smash Ultimate, the roster that's in there, the newcomers that were added, the way it plays, how it's super competitive, but it's still open for anybody to join in. And then Luigi's Mansion 3, that's being made by the same dude who did Color Splash, but he's keeping the criticisms of Dark Moon in mind and adjusting the game for that. So Nintendo has been showing more than ever that they are listening to the fans, and if we're respectful and we can have this celebration of appreciating the game, then we could get out there and we can save this franchise and have it be amazing. My only fears would be is that if they made a brand new game, they would try too hard to make it like Thousand Year Door, rather than just like making out of purity like the first few games. But hopefully they know what they're doing. They can have a passionate team and everything, and we can have this amazing franchise return to its roots and never die again, and always create new amazing games and times. Sorry if I repeated or kind of rushed myself, but that's most what I had to say, and I will be out now.